Finding the right fit university. This one is a tough one. It really takes some work to find universities that feel like the right universities to apply to. One of the best ways, and this is from students themselves, is to visit schools, is to actually go on campuses. Nowadays, this time of year, it's very hard to do that. But for a student to visit schools, it's not even too late. During the winter break, some students go and visit schools as well. The second best way is to attend college and university fairs and speak to college reps. So going and talking to a human being. Right now, again, we're going to do a virtual fair, but not a face-to-face fair. And then when colleges come to the university, to the campus, to Myanmar, to ISY campus, that's a good way to speak to them and to get details about a school and see if it's a fit. So those are two ways students and families can go about trying to make sure that they're applying to the right university. In the past, and these haven't necessarily changed, sometimes they change, students use ranking sites and college websites. The counselor seems to come in third in there, and then family and friends, and then some college fairs. So typically in our school community, it seems like ranking sites play a big role. That you're not sure about the quality of the school, and so you go to different ranking sites, and that's fine. I'm not in favor of ranking sites, but it is a good starting place to see kind of maybe what quality it can offer you. But doing like one ranking site like U.S. News and World Report in the United States, there are lots and lots of ranking sites. So if you're going to use ranking sites, I really encourage you to look around at different types. There's a Forbes, there's a lot of them. There's also some ranking websites that students themselves rank how their university is doing. In UCAS, you can, Unistats, if you look up Unistats in the UK and look up schools, there's actually a lot of survey data from students around quality of education, other things about the universities themselves. So you want to dig into some of that as you're going through this. The first thing that I ask is which country, right? And where in that country do you want to go? Do you want to stay near cities? Do you like the smaller town? What kind of majors or courses are offered? So in the United States, the majors or courses don't play as big of a role unless you're looking at like engineering or business. What type of campus? A large campus, small campus, competitive, cooperative. What's the reputation of them? And again, in that ranking site. So let me pop over to something else and show you some effective ways of researching and finding. The one good way, a really good way to start is with the big picture. So go to Maya Learning, College Board, Unigo, and then these other Canada, Holland, Germany, as I showed you before in earlier presentations. And then they have a site where you can put in criterion that you want, and then that list starts to go down. Unfortunately, some countries don't have a searchable website. And so then coming to the counselor or asking friends or family who are familiar with the system that you're trying to look at, or the countries or the schools that you're looking at, is a good way to do it. And so some, it's hard to tell from these websites what's good. So in the United States, another criterion to look for is how well you match up. So how well does your GPA and SAT match up with students from previous years? So that's another way to see if that's a good fit. And I would say in the United States, you want to go to a school where your GPA and SAT is right around in 50th percentile. You don't want to be in a school where everyone else has these great high scores, and you're kind of that bottom of the high score area, because you may be overwhelmed by the student body there. But you also don't necessarily want to be sort of at the top and be the person in the class that knows everything. You really want to try to fit in that middle 50%. And then I would say the same thing with the UK. With the UK, you want to be looking at schools where your IB scores match up really well with. And so that's another aspect. It's not just about preference, but it's about your chances of getting in and where you fit in with those universities. And I talked about that. Yeah. So if you can kind of combine both, your preferences and then you getting in, that's a good way to find a good fit university. But the quality is still hard. And using rankings isn't a bad way. But there's other ways too. Consulting with me, I have contacts with a lot of universities, and for you to talk to someone in the university, I can give you a direct name and number sometimes. Consulting with alumni is a really good way, especially if there's schools. And you can ask me where alumni are. I keep track of that. So you can ask me and you can ask alumni what their experience has been at schools and stuff. And then the fairs again and visit. There's also professors that have won awards for their teaching. So you can look up those things. So you can, let's see. Let me see if I can do this. In the UK. Okay, so 2019 Teaching Excellence Awards winners. So this is an organization that gives awards to professors that are very good, that are doing some cool things in the universities. Okay, so you can kind of see some of the names of universities in the UK. And some interesting things. Middlesex's computer science and student engagement teams. The University of Bristol Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship team. So it's professors and teams and departments that are doing some interesting things in the undergraduate level at these universities. Okay. For the U.S., this is a ranking system, and this is kind of fun. Best undergraduate teaching. So you have to be careful. You always want to look at what's behind these rankings. So I really encourage you. But look at this. Look at these interesting things. So Princeton, Elon, Brown, Georgia State University, College of William and Mary, Dartmouth. So again, it's a ranking system, but it goes at it a little different angle, right? Boston College, Miami University in Ohio, Rice, right? Arizona State University, and so on. And so that's a ranking, but it's from the angle of best undergraduate teaching. Okay. And then there's another U.S. best value schools. Right, 30 best college professors in the U.S. Right, and where are they? Right, we've got a great criminal justice professor at Alabama, somebody at the University of Maryland. Brooklyn College has psychology. So these are other. If you want, if this is something that you're concerned about in terms of the great education they'll get with good teachers. Here's some other lists to kind of look at and see if students are going in that direction in terms of what they want to study. Here are some universities and professors at those universities that you can look at. Okay, colleges with best professors. Let's look at that. 50 small colleges with best professors. Okay, this is U.S. centered. So Amherst, Bates, Brown, Bryn Mawr. Okay, these are really difficult to get into, but they're really good universities with good quality education and good professors, right? Colorado College, Connecticut, Dartmouth. So Dartmouth has come up on these lists a couple of times, right? And so that's so doing some searches around that for the quality of education as well. And then there's also niche, if you look for niche in the website. And then there's a different type of ranking with the best professors. This is on niche. You can do more searches in this. I just pulled one up here. So best professors in America, Yale, Brown, Duke, Rice. Similar to the other list that I pulled up, but they're a little different order. It's a different ranking site. So you may have some different universities in this list because they collect their data in a different way, right? Princeton, Stanford, MIT, University of Pennsylvania. So a lot of the ranking names that you've seen as well. But it's a little different, right? So those are all different ways that you can go about trying to get a good fit university.